Hello, and welcome to the MWF Show. I'm MWF. This week's episode is called Soft Sell, and so we're choosing that title because we want to offer an episode with more of the relaxation of you, the audience, in mind, and less of the more controversial material that we sometimes handle. This time around, we're going for a kinder, gentler version of the MWF Show. There will be a lot less heavy-handed and more smooth transitions, not so much jumping around and cutting back and forth because I didn't finish something, so I'll just cut away or whatever. And also, of course, there'll be much less hopping this episode, and just in general, no more big surprises. Welcome to Mailbox. Now, this is the part of the show where I get to take a look at some letters sent in to us by the sort of people that would watch the show. So, without any further ado, as the French would say, let's take a look at the first letter. Today's letter comes to us from Anita Johnson from Steubenville, Washington. Let's see what Anita has to say. Dear Mark, I am a lonely housewife. And I was thinking that maybe one night you could... Okay, this letter is a little bit confusing. Let me skip ahead a little bit. Okay, here we go. We live in troubling times, and I have been having a little trouble getting my young'uns to sleep. Young'uns? And Mark, I have one question for you. Anita, that doesn't sound like a question to me. Now, what could represent a more relaxing musical segue for your audience than the soothing sounds of super soft rocker Olivia Newton John? I don't know. I can think of a lot of things. But wherever you go, wherever you may wander in your life, surely you know I only wanna be there, holding your hand, standing around to catch you when you fall. Surely you know I only wanna be there. Let me be there in your morning. Let me be there in your night. Let me take whatever's wrong and make it right. Let me take you to that wonderland that only you can share. All I ask you is let me be there. Let me be there in your morning. Let me be there in your night. Let me take you and make it right. Let me take you to that wonderland that only you can share. All I ask you is let me be there.
Now here's this week's short film.
welcome to Shoot, Don't Shoot. Now this is the part of the show where I get to talk about some of the things that I have seen, heard, and learned about since the last show. Now I'm going to start off with a television show that I saw. It's called Roots. It's been airing on the Sundance Channel, and this show is full of big stars. So you may have seen it or heard about it. The guy from Star Trek is in there. William Shatner, the rifleman Ed Asner makes a special appearance. Sandy Duncan, this Wheat Thins lady that's always eating the Wheat Thins. I was surprised to see O.J. Simpson running around in this show since I thought he was in jail. And I found it to be quite a captivating and moving story. It's all about a family and different generations of a family. I did have one small criticism though, and that has to do with the language in the show. I noticed that a lot of the characters don't really speak correct English. There's a lot of improper noun-verb agreements and double negatives. And I know from having seen other TV shows and movies that are set in Bible days that actually the people of North Africa and the Holy Land speak very good English, very correct English. I know this from Charlton Heston and Tyrone Power, Yul Brynner, people like that are always talking in these movies. And I think maybe if that had been corrected, this thing would have taken off, maybe even been more popular than just being on the Sundance Channel, which it aired between episodes of Hogan's Heroes. So let's turn away from physical media and get back to books briefly. Now this is a book I finished recently. It's called Circus Boy, and it's the adventures of this kid that runs off. He joins the circus, and there's a monkey there that gives him a magic hat. Now, I don't want to give too much away with this, but there's also a wizard that can turn into an elephant, and they have this big fight with laser beams, and then later the monkey wakes up at home. It was all a big dream. Now, there's also a book that I read recently. It's called Hawaii Five-0. Some of you may have heard of this. There was a TV show based on it, and it's the story of this Hawaiian PI. His name is Jack Lord, and he's always running afoul of the local authorities and getting everybody in trouble. Now, another thing about this show that you might remember is it was also the launching pad for a kind of soda pop. It was called Hawaiian Punch, and it had this little guy. His name was Punchy. He was like a guy that was sort of dressed up like Huey Lewis, and he would go around and he would just punch anybody if they didn't drink his soda. Mostly he was punching kids. He used to punch Donny Osmond a lot, and his sister. He would get Jimmy J.J. Walker. Nobody knew why he was doing this. As you've probably guessed, this would not fly as well in today's world, because dressing up as Huey Lewis and hitting kids would be kind of like internet bullying. It would be discouraged, but it didn't stop people from buying a lot of Hawaiian Punch or keep people from watching Hawaii Five-0, the TV show, or Hawaiian Five-0, or whatever the acceptable term for that is. This would be like the modern equivalent of a movie like Saving Private Benjamin, or one of those movies where a woman has to play the piano and eat a lot of eels real fast.
And that's all we have time for.
On the MWF Show this week, be sure and support our Patreon. Subscribe to this channel. As always, we leave you with a classic music video and the words of Dr. Franklin Rule, may the power of the cosmos be with you.